Hi, here's May, and in case you didn't know already, I like idol anime a lot, and for today's video I'll talk about Hypnosis Mic, because I drew all characters within the units, similarly to what I did for Ensemble Stars before. The anime also just finished up with season 2 and I really enjoyed watching it. While I'll talk more about the characters as well as the anime later on, for now I will start with the first unit or group, which would be Buster Bros. As their name suggests, they're three brothers, and each group within Hypnosis Mic represents a division within Tokyo in the Hypnosis Mic world. You basically have these rap groups fight for territory in Tokyo. It's a pretty interesting world. I will also link some other videos explaining where the whole story of Hypnosis Mic is explained in more detail, but for now let's talk about Buster Bros. They're an idol group from Ikebukuro, a district in Tokyo known for their entertainment industry and shops. The group's fashion, style, music, and their interests also fit to the districts. Their music is hip-hop and street style inspired, and Ichiro is the oldest brother and the leader of the group. He has kind of a typical protagonist personality. He's focused on justice, has a lot of empathy, and is known around the area for helping people. The next member in the group is Jiro, the middle brother. Similarly to Ichiro, he takes part in these missions. They actually do these as a job, and he looks up to Ichiro and wants to be similar to him. He likes attention and is a pretty energetic, loud person with sometimes rather carefree and impulsive behavior. He's really passionate and likes playing soccer. The final member of this group is Saburo. He's pretty smart, calm. He's able to get a lot of things like research done on the computer. He's strategic and likes to play card or board games. For each group, I'm also going to talk about one topic, and here I'll talk a bit about the process I used for drawing the characters. Since this is the first group, I thought this would fit here nicely. I decided to try showing the mood board and the preparation for the project in the end of the video. This way it's a bit more interesting in case you don't know the characters already. You'll see them as I draw them, and in the end you'll see more full official illustrations of all of them. And for most poses here, I would first draw them in my daily drawing file, similar to how I did it with the N-Stars illustrations. That's why you'll see the time-lapses start with a basic pose sketched in already. I started with the sketch. Here I went off my initial picked out poses as well as the references for the outfits. After this, I move on to the line art, a rather relaxing step to me when I have a good, not too messy sketch. When it came to coloring afterwards, I looked at the references and picked out colors myself from what I saw. Generally, when picking colors, paying attention to the relationship between them, that the red looks like red compared to the blue of the shirt and is tinted in the same way to show that the character is in one environment helps here. For Jiro, for example, he has a blue jacket and a red part of the cap. You could start off with a greenish blue and then tint the red slightly green as well to make them look nice together. Especially when you look at how black or white parts of a character are tinted, you can easily see the coloring mood of the overall character. For me, this tends to be in a blue, purple or pink area. After I pick the colors, I move on to shading. For shading, I combine painting in shadows and lasso selecting parts as well as airbrushing them in. Finally, I also adjusted the art, painting in hue variation and added elements fitting to the units and characters. And finally, I ranked the members of this group. I like tier list videos a lot and wanted to include something like this in the video as well. For this, I'm also showing the members' MBTI types and some characters they remind me of. I don't want to let this influence my own opinion on the character too much though, since I like to just look at the character on their own, because even characters with similar personality types can be pretty different. Each character tends to be unique, and I don't particularly have a preference personality type wise. I find looking at the personality types to get a general vibe and find out more about characters they could possibly be similar to very interesting though, so I'm including this. But when it comes to ranking the characters, I just want to look at the character, their behavior, their interests and so on, and determine how much I currently like them based on this. I like Ichiro. He doesn't stand out as much as the other characters and is a bit basic to me. I put him into the B tier. Jiro can be a bit annoying to me and I don't connect to his attitude and how much he admires Ichiro that much, but at the same time I find he's an interesting character and I like his motivation and passion. I put him into the C tier. As for Saburo, I connect to him most out of all three brothers and I like how he focuses on logic and strategy most of the time. While I wouldn't support the whole illegal websites he uses for research, I'm fascinated by his ability to get information really quickly. He goes into the A tier. Alright, and maybe you've seen the video where I drew all N-Stars characters, where I also ranked each unit. I'll do this for the units or groups here as well. Buster Bros isn't my favorite, but also not my least favorite group aesthetic and music-wise. They're a bit more plain to me compared to the other groups. The members being siblings makes for an interesting dynamic here. Overall, I put them into the B tier. Now let's move on to the second group, which would be Mad Trigger Crew. They are in control of the Yokohama district in Tokyo. Their themes include the Yakuza, the police and the army. They're a group based on crimes. Their music style reflects this with the violence and justice based themes in them. Their music also is inspired by West Side hip hop. Alright, now let's talk about their leader, Samatoki, who I'm drawing here. He is the second in command of the Yakuza clan Katengumi in Yokohama. The Yakuza are kinda like the Japanese mafia. Samatoki himself tends to get angry easily, but other than that, he's rather closed off. Deep down, he also really cares for the people close to him, even if he often starts fights. Also, I don't want to spoiler you story-wise, so in case you haven't seen the anime or heard about the game, drama tracks and so on, you can skip the next 20 seconds. Him and Ichiro, as well as some of the other leaders of the other units, were in a unit together before. Actually, there were multiple units before the current ones, with some of the members being in them in various combinations, and were, because of the experiences in the older unit, the Dirty Dog, Samatoki and Ichiro don't like each other at all. Okay, that's it for the spoiler section. Now we're moving on to Juto, the policeman of the group. He's focused on results and work. He fights against the illegal use of drugs and crime within the city, but is a pretty harsh, determined person at the same time. He would resort to many means to get his work done. Finally, let's move on to Ryo, a former officer in the first class of naval forces in the Special Extermination Operations Unit. He has this soldier mentality. He's used to surviving on his own. He even lives outside in the forest in a tent. He also, for example, often offers to make food for the others, even if it's not really to their liking, since this food is based off what you would find when surviving on your own, something like insects and so on. He's a pretty calm person and very active. He also knows a lot about military equipment and so on, and is prepared for anything. Next, I mention my biggest struggles and things I adapted as I was working on the project. For the microphone of Samatoki, you, for example, saw that I hadn't drawn in a mic at first. I initially planned to only draw in mics for around half of the members, but since in Hypnosis Mic each member's microphone is unique to them and stands out to me, I decided to add in the microphones for all of them later on. Another thing I noticed as I was drawing was that I sometimes made the shoulders too pulled up, the upper arm too short, and the cranium, the back of the head, too small. I focused on these things when adjusting. Getting nice arm shapes was difficult often. The characters here are also older than many of the ones I usually draw. They're also drawn to look older than, for example, Genshin or N-Stars characters. Juto here, for example, is 30 years old. To help with portraying old characters, making the neck wider and the eyes smaller, as well as further up on the head, as well as the head smaller compared to the body, are changes I would implement in these illustrations here. Let's now rank the members of my trigger crew. I don't like Samatoki's bluntness and how easily he gets angry, but I like that he's straightforward and often just likes to be on his own. He likes living according to his own standards. I'm putting him into the C tier overall. I really like Juto. He's very ambitious and focused on work, and he also takes care of Samatoki in a way that he is the voice of reason in the group. When Samatoki wants to act impulsively, he holds him back. Apart from that, he smokes, just as Samatoki does, which I don't like that much. I like him a lot. I put him into the A tier. I'm rather neutral about Ryo. I like how calm and laid back he is and that he cares about the others in his team. At the same time, I don't connect with him that much. His military lifestyle and mindset, living out in the forest camping, isn't something I would enjoy. Still, as a person, I like him. He goes into the C tier. And for the unit, I like some of their songs a lot, and Juto's as well as Ryo's voices are some of my favorites. However, I don't like the military aesthetic and violence-based lyrics. I put them into the C tier overall. Next, let's move on to Flink Posse. This group is from Shibuya, a entertainment and nightlife district in Tokyo. Their music is pop style inspired. Shibuya is also known to be a very trendy district, popular amongst younger people. And fitting to this, the leader of Flink Posse, Ramuda, is a well-known fashion designer. He also loves sweets. He has kind of a twisted personality. He mostly acts cute, playful and childish outwardly, but actually always strategizes and is cynical. He also talks in a high-pitched voice, but then in rare occasions, when he wants to be more serious, he switches to a very low voice. Next is Gentaro, a mysterious novelist who dresses and often talks in a more old-fashioned way. He likes to tell lies and tease and entertain people around him with this. He also enjoys observing people and puts a distance between himself and others generally by not telling them how he truly feels. However, he deeply cares for those important to him and is sensitive to their emotions. While he himself doesn't like to go out often, he often goes along with Flink Posse's trips to look out for the other members. Gentaro doesn't like attention too much and usually talks in a polite, poetic way. Finally, we'd have Dice. Can you guess his biggest hobby and passion from his name? It's gambling. Dice is a thrill-seeking person addicted to gambling. He likes to live in the moment, is impulsive, straightforward and energetic. He has a pretty simple approach to life and, for example, carries dice with him to help him make important decisions. Next, I'll talk a bit about how I adapted to the fandom's style. When drawing in general, I combine my own way of drawing with implementing features from the character to make them look like themselves. For example, with drawing the characters' faces, I don't want to just copy what I see in the reference from the Hypnosis Mic cards and so on, using this exact same face shape, colors or the placement and size of eyes and so on. I want to use my basic process to draw characters while implementing features to make them look like the character. So I basically use the same guidelines and roughly the same proportions, but then I make changes to, for example, the eye shape and the hairstyle, mainly, since this varies the most between characters that are drawn in a anime style often. Here's my ranking for the members of Flink Posse. Ramuda is an enigmatic person. While I like his cute general personality, it can be a bit annoying at the same time. He's pretty mysterious and smart, which I like. I put him into the B tier. I like Gentaro's gentle and mysterious way. I also like how calm he is, and I find him really interesting. He doesn't like having a lot of attention on him and loves writing stories. I like this and find him entertaining. I'm putting him into the S tier. I don't connect with Dice's reckless way of living, and personality-wise, I sometimes find he can be a bit too naive or impulsive, but I find he can be entertaining. I'm putting him into the C tier. I like Flink Posse as a group with their brighter aesthetic and kind of fun vibe. I put them into the A tier. The next group would be Matenro from the Tokyo district Shinjuku. It's known for being a commercial and administrative center. It's a very busy place filled with railway stations as well as host clubs. Their music has a distinct style with its mysterious atmosphere and unique rhythms. The first member and leader is Jakurai, and he embodies the team spirit of healing and empowering each other since he's a doctor. He always has this kind of calm vibe and seems like the most responsible out of all characters from Hypnosis Mic to me. He likes to take care of the people around him, whether that's physically or mentally. He has taken on the job of a doctor to atone for his past, where he would eliminate terrorists. His hobbies include fishing and reading. He's a very calm person and stays relaxed most of the time. The next character is Hifumi, a host at a nightclub. He has kind of a split personality. Normally he's really afraid of women because of a traumatic experience in his childhood. To conquer this, here he started working as a host, but now this has led to him developing a separate personality whenever he wears his jacket. Then he becomes very confident and a smooth talker. In general, Hifumi is a very fun, playful, energetic, optimistic person who doesn't like to take things too seriously. The last member in the group is Hifumi's best friend Doppo, a very insecure, unconfident salaryman worker. He works at a medical company and often has to work overtime since he is so insecure and often blames himself. His co-workers often pass on their leftover work to him. Because of this, he also tends to be sleep deprived and is overall kind of depressed. Other than that, he is a pretty kind person and grateful for Hifumi's friendship, even though they tease each other a lot. They also live together in an apartment. Here I talk a bit about the elements I added. These were the elements in the character's main singing CG. They're also visible in the Glory or Dust YouTube music video, as well as usually 2 symbols for the group. This would mostly be based off of the logos, as well as a clothing accessoire that is the same for all members. You, for example, have for Matenro here this 4-shaped cross, or for Flink Posse the star shape, for Matriarch Crew before the triangle, and for Buster Bros the 3 buttons. These would make up 2 elements. Then I also added in 2 symbols fitting to the members' hobbies, their interests, their profession, or their personality. Combining these and arranging the elements in a nice way really makes the illustrations stand out more, and doing this was fun. I also got to learn more about the members by looking up what I would like to include this way. Let's now rank the members of Matenro. I like Jakurai as a person a lot. He's really calming and logical while being gentle and kind to others. He's a very selfless person. I'm putting him into the A tier. The only reason he isn't getting up into the S tier is that he doesn't seem as interesting as the other characters to me. I like Hifumi's bright personality a lot. He's very energetic and entertaining to me. While I don't connect with his personality, I like it a lot. His split personality makes him even more interesting. He goes into the S tier. And for Doppo, on one side I find him interesting and like him because of how relatable he can seem with his insecurities sometimes. They do get out of hand though, and I don't like the extent of his confidence. He's a very kind person other than this, and I put him into the overall A tier. This group is pretty calming to me. All the characters basically have this therapy-like dynamic where they help and encourage each other. I like them and their songs a lot, and I'm putting them into the S tier. Next, we're moving on to Dotsuitare Hompo, a rap group from Osaka, a district famous for its comedians and commercial and administrative center. Their group is pretty unique, including some traditional Japanese elements as well as some more fun, playful tunes. The leader is Sasara, a famous comedian. He loves to put on entertaining shows and lives his life relying pretty much only on himself. He doesn't trust others a lot, except for Rosho, his best friend, who I'll talk about next. This might be kind of a spoiler, so you can skip forward 10 seconds. Rosho used to be in a comedy duo with Sasara but quit, and Rosho doesn't like to talk in front of a lot of people, but opposing to this, he decided to become a teacher. I guess he likes facing his fears. Other than that, he's a rather calm, quiet person. And the last member for this group would be Ray, a conman who likes to scam people and cause trouble. He also likes to go drinking and is a very mysterious man. Here I'll mention some learnings from drawing all the Hypnosis Mic characters. First, we have the importance of planning, especially the adjustments with the microphones meant a bit of painting over and rearranging of the elements in the end. If I had planned out that I would include all microphones in the beginning, I could have prevented some of this. Next would be to pay attention to how different fandoms generally portray features like the eyes, hands, hair and so on, as well as any special special things that are added. This can help to make your art look more like that of one fandom you want to draw characters from. Here with Hypnosis Mic, I noticed how they often use this white outline around the character, and I added this in for the characters as well. Here's my ranking for the members of Dotsuitaro Hompo. I like Sasara's entertaining personality and how much he likes to rely on himself. While he can seem naive and only focused on entertaining others, he actually is pretty strategic. He can seem a bit weird at the same time. Overall, I put him into the B tier. Rosho is interesting since he tried being a comedian as well as now a teacher, even though he doesn't like talking in front of a lot of others. I connect with his logical side and that he's rather introverted. He's also a very kind person. I put him into the B tier. I don't like Ray as a person, I just don't connect with him manipulating people around him. He's pretty smart though, which I find interesting. I put him into the D tier. Dotsuitaro Hompo is an interesting group to me. Comedy isn't a very big interest of mine though. I like some of their songs, but compared to all other groups, I put them into the B tier. Talk about is Badass Temple. Their group is representing Nagoya in Tokyo, which would be the largest city in the Chubu region. Their music is rather dramatic and a bit rock inspired. The leader of Badass Temple is Kuko, a Buddhist monk. He is the heir of a Buddhist temple, who at the same time has a very rebellious personality. Opposing to his monk training, he curses a lot and is a pretty outspoken, playful, rebellious person. He doesn't like crowds and takes his responsibilities as monk and leader of Badass Temple seriously. Next is Jushi, a visual kei artist. He sings in a different band and likes to play the guitar as well. Personality-wise, he has kind of a split personality. A lot of Hypnosis Mic characters have this duality in their personality. For Hifumi, it was how he is with and without his jacket, and for Kuko, just how rebellious he is while being a Buddhist monk. And for Jushi here, on one side he can appear very overconfident and narcissistic, mostly when he's introducing himself to others for the first time or when he's very nervous. Other than that, he is really insecure, sensitive and cries easily. Jushi doesn't have many friends. He adores his stuffed plushy pig Amanda, which also happens to be his microphone a lot. He used to bully a lot in school. There, Hitoya, the third member of this group, advocated for him, and that's how they met. Hitoya is who I'll talk about next as the last character. Hitoya is a lawyer, he has a sharp tongue and is strict. At the same time, he cares a lot for people around him, wanting to act in a justified way. And in the anime, he always kind of says, there's two things I don't like, and then it's one thing that's not related to what's going on right now, and then the second thing is related to what's currently happening in the story. Finally, I'll talk a bit about different media and so on. If you want to get more info on Hypnosis Mic, you can check these out. For one, we'd have official merch, the website, as well as YouTube and other official social media channels. This is mostly good if you understand Japanese. From these social media channels you can also find the latest updates. Then we'd also have several stage plays and media, including the voice actors of the characters. And if you want to learn about the character stories in the most accurate way, I would recommend checking out the drama CDs. They're also in Japanese and voiced, but in case you're like me and you don't know Japanese, I have this next helpful resource, which would be the fandom site. There are some translations for the drama CDs on there, which I would let my PC read aloud as I was drawing some of the characters here. It was like listening to a nice entertaining podcast story. On the fandom site, you also have a lot of information on the group and characters, as well as the CGs. That's also how I in general get most CGs for references. The CGs are from the mobile game, another official thing you can get into if you like games, and this has a English version as well. Then there's also the anime, which has English subtitles. Since season 2 recently finished up, also a short opinion on the anime. Spoilers ahead, skip forward around 30 seconds. I usually watch the anime for these fandoms while I don't play the games or look at the dramas and so on. I only look into them a bit through YouTube, and here the anime is pretty cool. While it only covers some parts of the story, the first season introduces the first 4 groups and the world nicely, while the second one adds the 2 other groups, which would be Dotsuitaro Hompo and Badass Temple, while including some more battles between the groups, but mostly of the groups fighting together against other rebellious rap group to help save Tokyo, the whole city. The stories in the anime are not as canon as for the drama CDs, however, to me they're definitely interesting additions to the whole Hypnosis Mic universe. Let's now rank the members of Badass Temple. I don't like how much Kuko curses. I find he's a pretty fun, entertaining person other than that, and I like his dedication. I put him into the C tier. I really like Jushi. He's really entertaining as a person, with one side being super arrogant and expressive, but then his other side being really insecure. I find his unusual insecure personality pretty cute. He wants to improve, but at the same time is scared very easily. I kinda relate to this a bit, even if I'm not as easily scared and afraid as him. I like how he shows his emotions. I put him into the S tier. Hitoya is a bit boring as a character to me. I like how he stands for justice and wants to act logically, and overall try to help those around him. I find him saying there are 2 things I don't like, and then what I mentioned before, a bit weird. Overall, I put him into the C tier. Badass Temple is a pretty cool group to me. I like a lot of their darker rock-inspired songs. Their characters may not be my favorites, but overall I put them into the A tier. And finally, here are my top 10 Hypnosis Mic songs. I love a lot of the Hypnosis Mic music. I can definitely recommend checking it out. And similarly to what I did for the Ensemble Stars video before, I also picked out my top 10 favorite CGs. I won't talk about this in much detail since the video is already getting long, but you can let me know some of your thoughts about the CGs, the characters, and so on in the comments. Next, I'll talk a bit about preparation for the overall project. For this, I'm showing my mood board in PureRef. Here I put a lot of references, for the poses as well as for the characters. For the poses, I referenced Ensemble Stars, cards. I wanted the characters within each unit to line up with one another, and when picking out CGs to include, I'd focus on ones that would help me with either drawing the basic outfit of the character or their head. Going through all the CGs whenever I'm preparing for a project like this is really inspiring and fun to me. And that's it for drawing all the Hypnosis Mic characters. Let me know your favorite members and what parts of the video you found most interesting. Introducing the characters, the small intermissions, including my process and thoughts when drawing, as well as my top 10 rankings, or me ranking the members and groups. If I do more projects like this in the future, what of these aspects would you like to hear more about most? And also, I do the 18 members within the 6 groups, but when you go to the wiki and look at songs that are published by Hypnosis Mic, you also have some more songs and another noteworthy group, the Party of Words, which has 3 female members. I tend to like their music a lot and find their characters interesting. I also thought about adding them as well. I just wanted to go for the initial 6 groups, similar to what I had done with N-Stars before. There I also didn't draw Anzu, for example, who is actually like the protagonist or the person you experience the game and partly the anime from, but enough about N-Stars. And finally, I also turned the illustrations here into stickers. If you're interested, feel free to check out my Etsy store. I currently have some N-Star stickers as well as Genshin ones on there as well. If you'd be interested in stickers of the 3 female members of the Party of Words as well, let me know and I could add them. What idol fandoms do you know? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching the video, and thanks to all people working on the Hypnosis Mic franchise. It's such an amazing fandom to me with cool characters. Have a nice day and bye.